Well, once again, when you think this current government can't get any worse, we see it once again, the Labour Party and Rachel Reeves go, hold my beer, watch this. And we had some bad news in the last 24 hours that it is looking like we are, in the UK, going to see one of our most tax efficient ways get slashed massively. And we are going to see ISAs in the upcoming budget more than likely get cut, which isn't going to be good. Now, today we're going to talk about why that's happened and the fallout from that situation and the issue that it does cause to us that do live in the UK. First of all, let's take a step back. How did we end up in this situation? Well, in the last year, we did have a new party come into power, and I've called this out multiple times. In my lifetime, I've seen some disastrous political parties and leaders. Not as bad as this though. This is a new level of how disastrous it has been for the everyone in the UK. We have seen the current government fall to a very low approval rate, one of the lowest out there, especially in the first year. And what we did see is the budget, the awful budget that happened back in autumn of October 31st, 2024. And we saw a budget that was terrible. We basically went, we need to raise money because we want to spend a load of money and we don't want to sort out all the headaches. So what we're going to do is we're going to pass it all onto the private businesses. Private businesses went, we can't afford this. So what we're going to do is we're going to raise prices, and we had inflation come in again, and obviously it made everyone nervous because people thought this was going to really hurt the economy, and that's what we've seen. So because of that, what we basically have is the UK growth has halved in a year, which is very impressive. I don't think I've ever seen a government do that before, which has caused some issues. And because now there is a lot less growth, and that means there's less growth, rather than being a government that supports growth and then they benefit from that, they've tried to punish growth, and now they don't have the money to spend from that growth on what they want to do. And because of also a lot of U-turns, that has now created a 3 billion black hole in the numbers, and they need to go raise that somewhere in the coming few months, and it will be announced in the budget. Now the problem is that Labour have ruled out taxes on working class people, which is the income tax, national insurance for employees, and also I think they've ruled out VAT and corporation tax hikes, which is some of your main tax where you'd get a lot of your tax from, has been ruled out from. Now technically they say they're not raising taxes, but they're probably going to keep the income brackets exactly the same. So as you get pay increases and you get more money, more of that does get taxed because they're not putting it up with the lines of your pay increases, what they call financial drag. So they have to raise money some other way. Now the only other real big way, and we saw that in the last budget, is they come after the investors. And we saw that in the last budget, we saw big hikes to the capital gains allowance and also the tax rates you pay. And within the next 12 months, once again, they're more than likely going to come for investors, and we are going to feel it. So they are going to cut the ISA allowance. Now, the big thing to point out that it is the cash ISAs they are going for, and not the stocks and shares ISAs. The stocks and shares ISAs are to be untouched and stay at the 20,000 cap, which is a positive. However, what I would say is that as soon as they come for one thing, they will more than likely go for the other thing. So if they need more money, don't rule it out in the future that the stocks and shares ISAs are up next. But the next one is the cash ISAs they're going for, and they are going to cut the 20,000 cap on it. The rumour is that it's going to go down to around about 5,000, so a very significant cut. We're not even just talking half. It's a very big cut on the cash ISAs. And I find that move really disappointing, and in fact I find it disgusting that they are cutting the cash ISAs by that much. Now they're trying to say, oh well, what we want to do is we want to push more people into stocks and shares ISAs. Now I'm a big stocks and shares ISAs fan. That's what I use mine for, and I like doing individual stocks and buying them. I like and if not, I'm a big fan, a believer of buying the S&P 500 or an all world ETF. I think those are the better investments. But if we're being honest, the average Joe blogs on the street, they don't know what they're doing about stocks and shares ISAs and ETFs and S&P 500. They don't really know. They're quite happy to put their money into a cash ISA where they know it's safe and they get that smaller return, but they're investing. And that's the main thing. They're investing, they're making money, and they're getting rewarded for that. And that's what some people just like that nice, easy, safe income. And we are starting to get to a place where financial education is getting a little bit better in the UK, where people are at least using their ISAs. Yeah, they're not using, I think maybe they could be better using the cash ISAs, but they're starting to use the ISAs. And now all of a sudden to slash that, that's absolutely disgusting to me. And the other reason why they're also going for the cash ISAs, in my opinion, is because there's more potential to make money off them. So if you look at the HMRC figures, nearly double the people are using cash ISAs to stocks and shares ISAs in the UK. And like I said, the reason why is because people prefer that. People understand that, put it in, that's it, you're done, you get your interest rates. That's what a lot of people want. They want the nice, easy, safe return investment. And the fact that that's getting taken away from them or cut massively is totally unfair. Now, the thing is that once again, this all just kind of comes onto a situation of punishing people that want to try and better themselves. This is what it seems like in the UK at the moment. It seems like what we see at the moment is the people that try and better themselves, who try and do the knowledge of how ISAs work or make money and then have to go pay capital gains tax. It seems like they're the people that are always targeted at the moment. And that's the really thing that's frustrating me, is the people that are trying to better themselves are the ones that keep getting targeted for these tax hikes. Where you're at the point of view where you go, I do all this work and I keep getting more and more money taken off me. I'm the one that's kind of taking the risk, doing the time to do the research, and then you get punished for it. And especially when you look at, the current generations at the moment in the UK are, the generations that have it so much worse than the previous ones. Whatever aspect you look at from a housing point of view, from the cost point of view, for the current generations, it's really hard for them. They have so much more cost pressure, and yet you look at all these other years where previous generations have been able to benefit from a system that has been a lot more favourable to them, and yet this generation has it harder for them, and then they keep getting more and more taken away from them. They keep seeing more and more taxes taken from them, and then you look at what they have to show for it. And you look at what they have to show for it, and they're no better off. And this is what I also saw a few people like coming out and supporting this, like, oh yeah, it's too generous. Yeah, they should have cut tax allowances. And I can't believe that. I can't believe I'm seeing people like saying, oh, they should be cut. And I don't know if that's just because they're someone that have kind of benefited from that system, or don't realise like how tough some of the people that are coming through are having it from just a day-to-day basis. Then also the ways that they can do to better themselves have also got them taken away from. And I would be in a point of view where I look at these current ISA allowances at the moment, and we last had the last hike in 2017 to 2018. And since then, it's been at 20,000, which, in my opinion, we should be in a point of view where we're actually talking about cutting. I would actually be saying that we should be increasing. And in my opinion, I've always been a big believer that the cash ISA and the stocks shares ISA should continually move up, and I believe it should be moving up with inflation every year. If it came to my decision, that's the decision that I would personally make when it comes to allowances. And it's just unfair that once again it's not even increasing. It's actually getting taken away from them, and there's just so many things that are making it more difficult for people now. And you look at the likes of the income tax brackets, the amount of times that used to move up every year in line with wage increases, and now that's stayed stagnant. So more people are earning more money, but yet they're having to pay more taxes on it, and it's just unfair once again that it kind of comes from that these people are having to pay for it. These people are having to pay because we have people in power that are making inadequate decisions, that are making poor decisions where the UK economy growth is, coming by half. They then have to raise money from the awful budget that they caused, and then we're having to pay for it even more. And we already saw a lot of investors, massively hurt last year with the increases of the likes of the capital gains tax. And now once again you're seeing the current government once again come in for people that try and bet themselves with ISAs and cash ISAs and stocks and shares ISAs. It's disgusting to see, and you look at all the things that money is currently wasted on in the UK with certain issues, and yet they are not bothered about resolving those issues, and yet come for the people that are trying to contribute, that are trying to get earn the money, try and invest the money so they have more money to go spend and put that back into the economy. And they just punish people that are trying to bet themselves. It's awful. It's absolutely awful. And I've been at a point of view where I like the UK. I've always thought the UK has the potential to do really well if it was run correctly. But there's a point of view where you do look at the situation at the moment, and I've never considered like moving away from the UK. But the more this sort of situation happens, you just think, what's the point? What's the point? And like I said, I saw people saying, they justify a cut coming to the ISAs. And like I said, I don't know if it's just previous generations that have been successful from already using the ISAs, but when you have that sort of attitude where you allow something like this to happen, people say, I remember people saying, oh, last year, oh, it's just a capital gains increase, it's okay. And now this year, it's now the ISAs getting cut. Oh, well, that's okay, it's fine. So what happens next year if they come for the stocks and shares ISA? You then go, oh, it's fine, they can cut the stocks and shares ISAs. At what point do you stand up to this and you go, it's not acceptable? Because the more you keep saying it's fine, it's fine, it's fine, as we're getting worse off for it, there's got to be a point where you stand up and go, no, stop trying to attack the people that are trying to better themselves. So yeah, there could be a few changes. Yeah, obviously this is more than likely going to be in the autumn budget, so we probably have to wait 3 or 4 months for clarity on if it is just the stocks, the cash ISAs, or if it does extend to the stocks and shares ISAs, and also what the actual new limit will be for the cash ISAs. Like I said, the rumor at the moment is it's going to go from 20,000 to 5,000, which is, even to, we're not even going down by like 25% or even half. Like the fact we're going down by that much is just, yeah, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy, guys. So all we can do is make noise about it, and maybe they'll listen. But there again, they've not listened to any of the issues that have been brought up in the last 12 months. So we'll see where we're at. Yeah, keep making noise, guys. And that's all I can say. Thanks for watching. See you in a bit.